What's up YouTube? Talia from Yugi Bros, and I'm going to do a video on the new archetype coming out in January/February, which is the Nekroz. It's a deck I'm looking to play in the next deck I'll actually invest in and start doing well with. It's very, very popular in OCG and very, very strong. It's a very tough and skill-based type deck. It's not your, cool fort type deck where you can just be really good and do the same and do very easy plays. It's a very complicated deck that plays a lot of different things, and it's very versatile and very explosive at the same time. It has some crazy, crazy plays, and it's a very free deck. Like, a lot of things just regenerate so easily, and your hand advantage really builds. So I've had a lot of people ask me what they do and why they're good. So I figured I'd go through just the monsters and the spell just to help everyone kind of understand exactly what they do and kind of dumb it down, because each one is literally like a book. Every effect is like a book, and all you really need to know is what their main effects is, and it's ridiculous. It's so long, so we gotta sum it up. So for you that don't know, Nekroz are ritual monsters that have two effects in their hand traps and on summon some are on summon, some you can do sometimes effects. We'll start with the main one. Trishula is a level 9 ritual and has a hand trap that if during the player's turn when a Nekroz monster you control is targeted by a card effect, you can discard this card to negate the activation. So it's at 27, so it's very large and very big, and it's a good card against Burning Abyss, which will still be very meta and still be very strong. And then his other effect is when this card's ritual summoned, you can banish one card out of your hand, field, and grave. Same thing as Trishula, and you have to have all three to meet the requirements. So that's a really good effect against really just any deck. Like, it's a great card. That's your level 9. So we'll go down to level 7. I'm really just reading the more important ones. A lot of them are very popular, are very useful. This one's Valkyrius. Valk. It's a level 8 ritual, and his hand trap effect is what makes him really good. He's a 29, so he's very large, and his hand trap is when a monster declares an attack, you can banish one Nekroz card from your graveyard and discard this card, negate the attack, and then end the battle phase. It's really strong because it makes if you can't push for game, you can add it to your hand with another card effect, which we'll go for later, and you can protect your board and then make a bigger play next turn if you need to, which is really strong. I think it's very, very good. That's a level 8. Go down to level 6, Brio. The Nekroz Armor of Brionic. His hand effect is you can discard this card, add one Nekroz monster from your deck to your hand. So it's at 23, it's a 6-star, and it digs for absolutely anything you need. Most of the time it's the bigger monsters, because since Rhoda's at 3, you can grab Calcus, and that grabs the spells later. But it allows you to grab the Trish and all those bigger things that you can't only get to with Valk when you need it. So it's very good. And his effect is this is not just on summon. It says you can target 1 or 2 monsters on the field that were special summoned from the extra deck, shuffle them into the deck, and you can only use the effect once a turn. So you think about it, it's a 23 monster that you can summon and bounce a Dante and a Virgil, 2 Dantes, a Construct and a Winda, or Dark Claws. It bounces anything. It's actually, I think it's one of the strongest ones, to the fact that if during certain matchups it's really good. Then we go to level 4, Unicorn. Unicorn's hand trap effect is like Brio's, but it's at a grave. So you can discard him to the grave and then and then grab a, is it just monster? Target one Nekroz monster in your graveyard except the same one and add it to your hand. So it's really good. And he's at 23, and his effect is when he's summoned, negate the effects of all face-up monsters that are on the field that were special summoned from the extract. So you got to be careful, because I did this in testing earlier, and I had an Exabeetle on board, and I had him on board, and I went to use effect, and you can't. So I was like, it sucks. I just still testing, just me just reading. So it's very important to be careful when you summon them. Most of the time when you summon them, you can do chain plays and drop the Jhin if people choose to play Jhin. there's plenty of level 4s that you can play. That's a good option. Then you have the last one, which is number 3, and that's Klaus, or Klausolas. I don't know. Klaus. It's a level 3. He's at 23 defense and 12 attack, so that's why the defense is the thing. So you can ritual, blah blah blah. It's a good one. You can send him to the graveyard and add a ritual spell or trap from your hand. Yeah, spell or trap from your hand during the player's turn. You can, during the player's turn, that's his hand trap, sorry. And on the field, during the player's turn, you can target one monster on the field that was special summoned from the extra deck. Its attack becomes 0, also its effects are negated. So it's also very strong, because that gets over a lot of problems. That's why people are like, oh, Dark Claw's going to be really good, and Hero's going to be really good. But there's really a ton of outs to stop it. The same thing with, like, Wind and Construct. Like, that stuff doesn't really matter anymore, because I can just ritual summon one thing, stop it, and then do a lot of other things. I think the only other decks that, like, Quill Forts is still, they're getting support. I haven't looked into it that much, but I already know they're going to be a strong contender. I think Dante is still going to be, if not the second best deck at the time, the third best. It'll probably be Nekloz, Quill Forts, and Dante, or Dante and Quill Forts, vice versa. Just because OCG, since they don't have them, we don't really know how it's going to play out against Nekroz, but there's so many cards that stop them, and there's so many techs that this deck can play that will make like their targeting cards stop. So, and the ability to play certain cards are really good to stop back row. And that's the last ritual summon. Now we have, there's an effect monster called Shrit. Yeah, Shrit, the caster of the Nekroz. He's great. I love him. He's got 18 defense, 300 attack. He's a 3-star. His effect is, if you ritual summon exactly one Nekroz ritual monster, you can use this card as an entire tribute. If this card is tributed by a card effect, you can add one warrior type Nekroz monster from your hand. So it's basically like a free cost that just adds any warrior to your hand. Everything seems like it adds and adds. You manipulate your hand however you would like it to be. Then you have that's the only monster we have. Then there's 2 ritual spells that we know we're looking to get, and I believe a new one came out on OCG. It's like some gold one or something like that. So we have Nekroz Exomere. Basically with Exomere, it's a standard ritual card that you have to use a cost. I think the only difference is you must also tribute monsters from your hand, field, or, this is the decent part, banish Nekroz monsters from your graveyard whose total level equals the level of the ritual monster. Equal the level of the ritual monster. You can only use the effect while the level one's return. So basically, you can use that at hand, grave, or field. So it's the grave thing that makes it a little bit better. That's Exomere, and both the effects, both the ritual summon cards, the ritual cards, spells, allow you to banish both this, like it says you can banish both this card and one Nekroz monster, which could be like your ritual, which could be your effect monster you don't really need later, and add one Nekroz spell card from your deck to your hand. So it's just like, that's if you have no monsters. So if you're like nothing over, you can at least banish and do other stuff. And then this is the most broken one, is Kaleido Mirror. I don't know. It's the best one. Basically allows you to open up the Quasar Shooting Stardust play if you get it off. But you must also tribute one monster from your hand, field, or send one extra deck card from your graveyard. That I'll explain that in a minute, and it has the exact same effect as the other one, which you can banish. Now the reason why this is so good is you play, I think I'm playing 10 synchros. So let's say like Unicore. I can use Unicore and activate Kaleido Mirror and drop the Herald, the Arclight, and his third effect is when this card is sent to the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one ritual monster from your, or ritual spell card from your deck to your hand. So basically with Unicore, you can drop it with initially a plus cost, and then add any card in your deck that you really need at the time. And for those that don't know the Quasar play is, what you do is you add like 2 Brios to hand after like securing board, obviously, because you want to be safe. Add 2 Brios to hand, and then you can go Kaleidom and drop Quasar, bring out 2 Brios, and then if there's a problem board, you just bounce them. And then you make an Exit Beetle, and you equip Quasar, and then you drop Quasar and pop their monster, and bring out a Shooting Stardust, and then Gaia over Beetle. So now you have a 33 monster that is very strong, and a Piercing Gaia. And that's just your board at the time. That's if you have nothing else. But like plays like that are really, really strong. And you can also make plays like M7 and stuff like that too, and bounce back things. It's just, there's a lot of really good plays. But you have cards like, we have Road at 3, and that's really strong because that grabs the effect monster, which is a warrior, and that's really good. It grabs that, it grabs Klaus, which is the one that you just did a grave and that original spell. And it and then we also have the 3 Manjus and the other one too, the yellow one, and they also add with preparation rights. So you can imagine all these cards, and we're just adding, securing good board. For those who don't know sideboard or aren't too sure, what's really popular in OCG is Book of Eclipse is like one of the best cards over there right now because it's against every matchup. It's really strong and it removes problems. Curse Seal is really, really good because a lot of builds barely play traps. Like I'm playing the 3 Vanities and that's it. And a lot of builds don't even play that because you can play cards that also stop people from social summoning. So it's really good. Decree is very easy to play. Shared Ride is good against the mirror match. It forces you. It's like the maxi version, I guess, but it forces your opponent to like slow down. And depending on like how the meta goes at the time, other things might be strong. But that's basically all the effects and what they do. They have tons of plays, which we'll all see once they come out. And yeah, so it's pretty much like Nekroz for like very simple form. They all can make really good plays, but like I said, they all have versatile effects. Like not only are they hand traps that rejuve your entire hand, but their unsummon effects are pretty dangerous. And they make some pretty scary monsters that become a problem later. So that's it. So sub, like, comment, tell me what you like, tell me if you're gonna build it. Let me know what you think about the video and all that type of stuff.